Yo! Are we live right now? Whoa, where's my camera? It's gone dead blurry. Are we live right now? Are we live right now? Yeah. Great. I think we're good to go. Hello everyone. How is everyone doing? Let me go live on the tickers. Yo. If you can hear me, say hello. This is fucking weird. Right. So, we are on TikTok now, I think. We should be live on TikTok now. And on Instagram. And on YouTube. All at the same time. So here, I can see the YouTube chat. Here I can see the TikTok chat. And here I can see the Instagram chat. If you can hear me on Instagram, say hello. Alright, we are good to go. Hello TikTok, can you see me? We are live trading today. Obviously I can't show you the chart. I'll get fucking banned or something. So unfortunately we cannot do that. If you want to watch the full stream, just go to my bio, something like that. Or search me up on YouTube, Josh Williams FX. But we are live today. Right now, if you're on Instagram or YouTube, we're just going to completely zone out, alright? Going to focus on the YouTube, going to be answering the YouTube chat, going to be looking at the YouTube chat. So if you have a message, you have a question, just go to the YouTube, Josh Williams FX, add me on there, watch the stream on there. But we're about to get started now, guys. So obviously, I am live on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube all at the same time right now, seeing how it's going to go, focusing mainly on the YouTube chat. So be careful with that if you have anything to say. Now, obviously you guys on TikTok can't see the chart, so we're going to try and verbalize most of this, say it out loud, most of what's going on right now. We are looking at GBPJPY on Instagram. You can see, we're on, we got GBPJPY here, right here. We got, we got the YouTube stream up here. So if you don't know, Trump is talking today. Trump is having a speech right now, and it looks like it's about to start soon. That's an advert. But it looks like it's about to start soon. So what's going on is today Trump went to like NATO to have like a chat with NATO, and just started talking with all of them, talking about Article 5, which Article 5 is like the agreement that if one country in NATO is attacked, all of the other countries kind of take it as like an attack on them. So if for example, if I was to attack Germany, all the other NATO countries like France and Spain and Belgium would be like, that's an attack on us, so we would attack back. That's kind of how that works. So Trump left that out a few times, I think, in his last speech or in his first speech in this new presidency. So, you know, I think they were having a go at him or having a moan at him for that. And he was basically saying he stands with it, he agrees with it, all that stuff. So they had a chat, the whole NATO, he was there, he was talking. Now, this video that you're seeing on your screen, like right here on Instagram and like right over here, right over here on YouTube, that is basically just us waiting for him to start talking. So, just waiting for him to start his speech, and once that starts, we kind of will obviously listen out for that. But until then, right, there's another thing that could possibly be happening as well. If I just go onto Financial Juice and Forex Factory, I don't know if you can see it properly on Instagram, but basically Jerome Powell speaks in like 20 minutes. So gotta look out for that as well. I was hoping that this one could start and then finish, and then we get a little bit of a gap between for us to trade. If they both start around the same time, that's probably good as well, because then once they've both finished, we won't have to wait for anything else. But we can look for trades until then. We still have 20 minutes. We can still look for trades, right? We can still look for trades. So like up the stream if you haven't already, guys. Like up the stream if you haven't already. But yeah, as I said, I'm focusing mainly on the YouTube chat. If you want to watch me properly, search my name up on YouTube, Josh Williams FX, and we will be live there mainly. Obviously, I'm on TikTok and Instagram for the first time today, seeing how it goes. But yeah, let's get to it. So, who've we got in the YouTube stream? Let's see. We got Mark, Andy, Stacy, Janice, Louis Jr., Gabriella, Elizabeth, Curtis, Glenn. What's good, guys? How are you all doing? What about sell on EU after we take 5-minute high? There is a candle with no bottom wick. Sells after we take the EU highs. I don't really think that's a good idea at the moment. As if Roland, Relaxing Rain, Eddie, Daniel. But we are going to be looking at trades today. We're going to be looking at trades now. We're going to jump into this now. UJ about to inverse on the 15. So this is probably the trade we're going to be looking to take now, guys. We've been looking at this for a little bit now. The past like hour or so, we've been looking at sells on USDJPY. It looks like we're about to get an entry on that. So what we can do is obviously wait for this candle to close. I don't know if you can see on Instagram, but there's 5 minutes left or 4 minutes left on this candle. So at quarter to the next hour, so in 4 minutes, we will be able to potentially take this trade if we get it. Now, I want to move to break even as quick as possible because we have a Jerome Powell speech in 20 minutes, which is obviously going to rock the markets a little bit. Now, right now, it looks like we are going to be melting down. Hopefully we can chill out a little bit. It is still in a 5-minute fair value gap though. That is correct, Glenn. So we'd want something like this. Stop loss would go, let me just move this out the way for now. Stop loss would go above this high right here. Probably. Let's just move this out the way. Once Trump starts, we'll put that back in. But what we'd want to do is, we've obviously had a 5-minute accumulation as well and all that stuff, but focusing more on the 15, we'd want to inverse this down here. So we'd want to close like around about here. I think the take profit is probably best to just be put down here at this fair value gap right here. On this fair value gap right here at about 145,500. That's probably the best place. But Louis reminding us again, we did look at the DXY before, and the DXY is bullish, so we can't really do much here. Okay, so if you didn't know, the DXY is the dollar index. It's like the dollar against like a massive basket of things. It's against the yen, all these other different currencies, right? It's basically how the dollar's behaving. So this is the dollar index. This tells us what the dollar's worth, basically. And with currencies like USD/JPY or GBPUSD, you see in USD/JPY, the USD or the dollar is the first currency. It goes USD, then JPY, right? And then it goes like with GBP, then USD. So with that, it then becomes one's base and one's quoted. So if we have like a move up on the DXY, all the currencies with USD first, like USD/JPY, USD CAD, USD Swiss franc, all of those currencies will go up with the DXY. But if the DXY goes up, all the currencies with USD at the end, like Euro USD, AUD USD, GU, GBP USD, and some others will also move in the opposite direction, right? So with that, if the DXY needs to go up, if the DXY is bullish, it needs to come up and fill this gap, right? And also come up to these fair gaps up here. That means the USD/JPY is also bullish, regardless of what the market looks like on there. And I forgot about that, I can't lie. Louis, you reminded me there, so. Yeah, I messed with USD until that gap's filled. But it looks like the speech is starting. If I just bring this back over here, it looks like the Trump speech is starting. If I just unmute this, I think you should be able to hear it if you're on TikTok now as well. But I think if the DXY was bearish, this would be the trade we're looking at. Obviously, we've got a Trump speech that's about to start. We also have a Jerome Powell speech, which is starting in 15 minutes as well. So it's pretty hard to trade this reliably. GJ looks good though. We can't. I think we took a trade on GJ before. We took it like this morning. The bias is bearish. You know, it's pretty clear that is bearish. We oh yeah, they are. I beat you to it, cause yeah, we are bearish. You know, we've had a massive move up. We've had an accumulation like all day yesterday and all morning, or all early morning up until like 3 p.m. Then we started pushing up in a manipulation. This was my target on the original trade. This right here was my target, like 197,700. That was my target on the original trade. But we took the trade. It went down here. Then we got caught break even on that. So that messed us up a little tiny bit. But now we pushed back up, formed a fair value gap. We're looking to inverse that again. So if we can inverse that, I'm going to set an alert for that as well. If we can inverse that, we could take another trade. We could just take a re-entry on this, which stops above here. You know, take profit. Even originally where it was before, that would be the move as well. I wouldn't mind taking that as well, to be fair. Someone said we got a 1 minute IFVG. That's not my situation, really. That's not something I would take. The 15 minute does have no bottom wick though. If we look at that, the 15 minute doesn't have a bottom wick. So, but it's got a small one. But it's the same kind of story. You can expect that to flip. Who's on TikTok? If you're on TikTok, say hi. If you can hear me on TikTok, say hi. Like up the stream if you haven't already. Looks like this Trump speech is about to start any minute. So be careful with that. If you're watching on Instagram and you want to see the proper thing, the full chat, make sure you search me up on YouTube, Josh Williams FX. That's probably the best place to watch this, especially if you're on TikTok. You can't even see the screen. So search me up on YouTube. I'm live on there every single weekday. Well, looks like this speech is about to start any minute now. Just a little guide. If you're on YouTube, this is the stream right here. This thing right here, that is the Trump speech that's about to start, right? If you're on Instagram, this right here, this is the Trump speech that's about to start. Also, if you're on Instagram, this little thing here, GBPJPY, that's basically telling you what market I'm on at the moment. So if I change markets, if I go to like GBP CAD, it will say that for you right there. And it also says the time frame too. The number 15 right next to it is the time frame that I'm on. But YouTube's the OGs. If you're watching me on Instagram, search me on YouTube. You can see the chart. You can see everything clearly, especially if you're on TikTok as well. Like up the stream if you're on TikTok, guys. Say hi as well. Let me see who's here. We're looking at a trade right now. On GBPJPY, we are looking at a sell position. You know, if to be fair, I probably could just flip my screen for a sec. How do I do this? Here we go. We are looking at a sell right now. Here's the YouTube. Say hi. But this is what we're looking at the moment. This is the stream that's about to start. I don't know who this guy is, but this is the stream that's about to start. Or the speech, whatever, for Donald Trump. I don't know what this filter is, by the way, as well. I don't know how to get this filter off on TikTok. It's like a weird like contrast filter. I don't know what that is or how to get rid of it. This looks good. This GJ trade is probably our best bet at the moment, to be honest with you. I don't really think we got much else in this. It literally is just this one. USD/JPY, we were looking at that, but that kind of goes against the DXY, so we can't really take that trade. You know what I mean? We were looking at sells here as well, but it goes against it. That could still be a target in the middle of the 4-hour fair value gap. Yeah, I think that is probably the best target to be. It's an unmitigated 4-hour. It's an unmitigated 1 hour. I think it makes the most sense to be here as a full TP. Now the 15 minute, remember what I said? It had to flip. It still had 8 minutes. Still has 8.5 minutes left on that candle. It still should flip to make that bottom wick. I said that at the open, and it looks like it's gonna play out. But like up the stream if you haven't already, guys. If you're on TikTok, you know where to go. Let me see if I can put that as a text. How do I get rid of this filter? This is really annoying. Anyway, we can't, unfortunately. This stream still hasn't started. The speech still hasn't started. It's still just showing us videos of people. I think this GJ, that is pretty much like the only, that is literally the only thing that's GBP CAD as well, to be fair. GBP CAD, this has no top wick on the 15, but it looks good. We've got an accumulation here. We're melting right now. What's the bias on this? Took the highs out here. Took the highs out. I'd say this is bearish. But we've got two fair value gaps we need to inverse. We've got this one here. We've also got this one right here. So we need to inverse two back to back. So we'd need a close like down here. And if we get a close like down there, stop loss up here, maybe up here if you want to push it a little bit. And where's your take profit gonna go? Suppose you could target this right here. Makes it a 1 hour trade. Not really worth it. If you target these lows all the way down here, that could then become 2R, which isn't that bad. Maybe, you know, adjust the trade when we get here. To be fair, that's an IFG. That's not even a. It's not even a thing that we want to look at. But I suppose this could also be an option. You know, can't lie. This could also be an option. So it's this, it's GBP CAD and GJ. So two setups at the moment, not bad at all. Gold, not really doing much. Check the 5 on gold though. If we check the 5, could potentially get something on gold. No, nothing. Okay, I guess this is our best bet, to be honest with you. This is probably the one I'm most comfortable with taking. This is probably the trade that I want to take the most, is this GJ sell. Euro CAD, I mean, we can have a look at Euro CAD. I mean, yeah, I guess that's kind of bullish on the 4 hour. Daily. Bullish technically. Actually, no, it's bearish. The daily is bearish. The daily's bearish. The 4 hour looks bullish though. The 1 hour is bearish. Hey Jackson. So we could take this. We could take this, to be fair. So that's what, a couple more trades. 3 potential setups. We'll send a alert on all of them. I think if we're going to take this trade right here, if we're going to take this trade, I think the entry would look something like this. AUD CAD, that's a bit of a weird one. So that this would be like sort of target. To be fair, this isn't like, if this candle right here was like a 30 minute and we had no top wick on it, then that could be an issue. GBP CAD looks cleaner. GBP CAD does look cleaner. I think this would be the trade. This one and GJ. GJ Stars made that bottom work, really. That's shocking. Glad you're back on here. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, so there's 3 potential setups right now. Just a quick update for people on TikTok. We got GJ, right? We got GJ right now. We've got GBP CAD, which we could definitely take in 2 minutes if this closes like this. Then there's also Euro CAD as well, which we could take. Oh, Trump started talking.
It's been accomplished, as you probably noticed. Listened to a lot of wonderful speeches from the heads of a lot of wonderful countries. But I want to thank you for joining us at the conclusion of a highly productive NATO summit in the Netherlands. I want to thank them for the
I don't know if we should take
royal treatment they've given us. Couldn't have been nicer. And it's a beautiful country, really a beautiful country. Coming in, I saw the most beautiful trees. In fact, I want to bring some back with me. I want to also thank, I had breakfast this morning with the King and Queen, and they're incredible people. I said, you're central casting. Beautiful people, great people, big, beautiful heart. And I enjoyed that. And also, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. It's been terrific. He's been a friend of mine. Used to be right here running this wonderful country. Now he's the NATO Secretary General. He's doing a fantastic job. And the Prime Minister. We appreciate everything you've done. And as you know, last weekend, the United States successfully carried out a massive precision strike on Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities. And it was very...
Are we going to take this? I don't think we should.
It was called obliteration. No other military on earth could have done it, and now this incredible exercise of American strength has paved the way for peace with the historic ceasefire agreement.
Look at the difference in colour between his hands.
And, we call it the 12-day
look at his hands
war.
And then look at his face.
Spoke to a few people. Sorry. I guess that just sounded like the right name. It was a 12-day war. And we think it's over. I don't think they're going to be going back at each other. I don't think so. Not only have we dealt decisively with the critical threat of Iran's nuclear program, which was what I wanted. I said, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I've said that for 15 years, long before I decided to do the political thing. But we've also reasserted the credibility of American deterrence, which is like no other. The people of NATO said there's never been anything. You know, I rebuilt the entire military during my first term. And we have a great military, we have great generals. Got to know the good ones and the bad ones. We kept the good ones. Over the past 2 days, I was honored to participate in the NATO leaders meeting and also had extremely good individual discussions with the King, the Queen, Secretary General Rutte, and the Prime Minister. Great discussions. Very knowledgeable people. Major focus of our conversations at the summit was the need for other NATO members to take up the burden of the defense of Europe, and that included the financial burden. As you know, it was 2%, and we got it up to 5%. And they said, a couple of them came up to me, one in particular said, sir, we've been trying to get it up to 3% for 20 years, and we haven't been able, and you got it up to 5%. So they're going to be, most of them, I guess almost all of them, are going to be contributing now 5%. The number that
if you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, search up my YouTube, Josh Williams FX. You can watch this entire thing better and easier. If you're on TikTok as well, there's only 2 people on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, go to YouTube.
I said to people, you don't have any money, and a lot of them weren't paying. And so I started the process, and I picked it up as soon as I got back, which is 6 months ago. And following my election last November, almost all...
GJ is kind of crap now, 30-minute fed like I thought. Yeah, that is...
3%, 4%, and then ultimately very quickly...
We'd have to wait another half hour for that.
And all of this is
But
getting done very
it is the
quickly,
best
almost
setup
immediately.
though. It is my favorite technical setup. Like technically, it's my best one. I like the look of it the
A
most.
very historic milestone this week. The NATO allies committed to dramatically increase their defense spending to that 5% of GDP, something that no one really thought possible. And they said, "You did it, sir. You did it." Well, I don't know if I did it, but I think I did. This will be known as the Hague Defense Commitment, which is pretty good, pretty appropriate. When the Allies reach this number, it will add more than $1 trillion a year. Think of that, $1 trillion per year to our common defense, and this is a monument really to victory, but it's a monumental win for the United States because we were carrying much more than our fair share. It was quite unfair, actually. But this is a big win for Europe and for actually Western civilization. For years, past administrations failed to get most allies to contribute even the 2%. I remember when I came here, we had 4 countries that were up to 2%, and I remember Poland was there, a couple of them were there, and but most of them were, we had 28 at the time, as you know, it's increased a little bit, and they've agreed now to more than double their budgets in all cases. And Europe stepping up to take more responsibility for its security will help prevent future disasters like
I don't
the
really.
horrible situation with Russia and
I really
Ukraine.
like this.
Hopefully we're going to get that solved. Last week they lost 7,000 soldiers, mostly soldiers. But
There's lots of them on the 5-minute anyway.
Kiev, they're getting hit in some of the towns.
We'd have to inverse this one
Uh,
up here.
and that means life. Life is disappearing also in the cities and towns. Should have never happened, would have never happened if I was president. Said it 1,000 times. And it never did happen. It's never even thought about. But it's vital that this additional money be spent on very serious military hardware, not bureaucracy, and hopefully that hardware is going to be made in America because we have the best hardware in the world. You saw that where 14 missiles were shot at us the other day. And they were very nice. They gave us warning. They said, "We're going to shoot them. Is 1 o'clock okay?" They said, "It's fine." And everybody was emptied off the base, so they couldn't get hurt except for the gunners. They call them the gunners. And out of 14 high-end missiles that were shot at the base in Qatar, all 14, as you know, were shot down by our equipment. Amazing stuff. Amazing that they can do. It's like shooting a bullet with a bullet. It's the same thing if you think about it. 14 out of 14, and they weren't even that surprised. I said, "Do you do that well often?" They said, "We pretty much do, sir." The Ukraine crisis has also highlighted the urgency of rebuilding our defense industrial base, both in the United States and
GBP card has an hourly candle with no bottom wick at all.
Adversaries for
Very
minerals.
tiny,
As you know,
tiny
we
one.
made a deal with Ukraine to take a vast amount of the land they have for minerals we needed. And once again, I want to thank all of the people in the Netherlands, incredible people. It's a great place. And all of the NATO allies for the tremendous summit.
On GBP card, if we respect this bearish fella up right here, and also
Atomic Energy Commission
form one here and then inverse that one, we could take the shit. If Trump shuts up.
People, as you know,
If he shuts up.
devastating
Probably won't.
strike on Fordo destroyed the site's critical infrastructure and rendered the enrichment facility totally inoperable. It was devastated. We assess that the American strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities has set back Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons for many years to come.
This plugin definitely made me realize I don't need to be paying for all my other sample libraries. I'll put just
To nuclear material, which it won't. It's so sad that whole thing had to go. But I just want to thank our pilots. You know, they were maligned and treated very bad, demeaned by fake news CNN, which is back there, believe it or not, wasting time, and nobody's watching them, so they just wasted a lot of time, wasting my time. And the New York Times, they put out a story that, well, maybe they were hit, but it wasn't bad. Well, it was so bad that they ended the war. It ended the war. somebody said in a certain way, you know, that it was so devastating. Actually, if you look at
There we go.
Hiroshima, if you look
Back
at
on TikTok now.
Nagasaki, you know, that ended a war too. This ended
Without
a
the
war
filter.
in a different way, but it was so devastating. Also, they have out of Dubai. Just came that Iran's foreign ministry spokesman, this is Iran's foreign ministry, says its nuclear installations were very badly damaged by the American strike. So what bothered me about these reports, that were fake reports put out by the New York Times, I call it the failing New York Times because it's doing terribly. Without me, it would be doing no business at all. But
So, in 2 minutes, if GBP forms this for Vagas, guys,
all of these
we
terrible
could look to inverse that and then take that entry.
You know, when I started, they were 94% credibility. The media, now it's at 16%. And I'm very proud of it because I've exposed it for what it is. But when I saw them starting to question the caliber of the attack, was it bad? Well, it was really bad. It was devastating. They obliterated. Like, you can't get into the tunnels. They just put that over. That just came out. They can't. There's nothing. There's no way you can even
I think
get down. The whole
Jerome
thing
Powell is also
collapsed.
talking right now as well.
And I think all of the stuff is
Let's have a look at that. So if we,
and we did it very quickly. When they heard we were coming, it was, you know, you can't move it. Very hard, very dangerous actually to move to. And they also knew we were coming, so I don't think too many people want to be down there knowing we're coming. With the bunker busters, as we call them, we're the only ones that have them. We have the best equipment, best nuclear equipment, and we have the best equipment in the world. And by the way, we can't forget our submarine.
hey guys,
Which was out there.
Hey, Chris.
Submarines actually, but submarine was out there. We shot 30 rockets into an area. Every single one of them, I think it was almost 400 miles away. I think 400 and long. It was in the ocean, long ways away.
hey Emmy,
And we shot a total of 30. Every single one of them hit within 9 inches from where it was supposed to be. It took it a lot because we didn't do just Porto. We did 2 others in addition, which hadn't been completely destroyed. So we hit them with a submarine from. So that's one, and the other was from the Atomic Energy Commission.
like up the stream if you haven't already, guys.
3 or 4 of them now.
Like up the stream if you haven't already.
Energy
If you're on TikTok, Instagram, don't even know if you can like streams on Instagram. Is that even a thing? If you can, like it up.
Released a little while ago was from the Israeli.
If you want to watch like the full thing, go to YouTube, search up Josh Williams FX,
And
and
the site has been demolished. And again,
see us on YouTube.
we had these brave patriots, these incredible.
No, Trump can't
flyers,
read.
these
I didn't know that.
people that can fly a plane better than anybody can fly a plane, going into very hostile
USD JPY.
territory, flying into
This was against our bias though.
territory that has got more missiles and things pointed at it, but it was very stealth. They didn't get to see it. It was dark.
Does look good.
That's the amazing thing about the shots. They hit the shots perfectly, and yet it was dead dark. There was no moon. There was no light. It was virtually moonless. It was very dark, and they hit the shots were hit perfectly. But when they get demeaned, and they were very upset about it
Wow.
because they knew how strong it would be. Back in Missouri, the pilots flew about 36 hours, 2 ways, far distance, and in those incredible B-2s. And we then had the F-22s, and we had the F-35s, and we had other planes. So we had, I think, a total of 52 tankers. That means the big tankers, because the refueling was a lot for all of the different planes that we sent. Incredible operation, and I have to say, General Raisin Kane was incredible. That's why he beat ISIS, and we beat ISIS in a matter of weeks. I was told it would take 4 to 5 years. We did it in a few weeks. And he was great.
Happy we didn't
That's
take
why he's
this.
head of the Joint
This was a
Chiefs of
technical
Staff.
close, wasn't it?
I had a very good experience with him. He knocked out ISIS.
This still. GJ still looks good. GJ is still on the cards. We could still take a trade on
5
GJ.
years to be exact. So we had a great victory there, and we then came here, and I think we had a great victory here. But this is an ongoing project. This is the safety of Europe, the safety of the world, and they've raised it from 2% to 5%, something which nobody. And you're talking about over $1 trillion a year. So we're talking about a lot of money coming in from countries that we're not paying nearly enough to be a factor. So I have, as you know, Marco Rubio with me, and Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State and Secretary of War. Should we say Secretary? It used to be called Secretary of War. Maybe
I think we'd have to wait for a 30-minute.
because we feel like warriors.
We'd have to wait for a 30-minute close.
In fact, if you look at the old building next to the White House, you can see where it used to be Secretary of War. Then we became politically correct, and they called it Secretary.
That
of
alert
War.
sound needs to change.
But we feel that way.
GJ is dropping.
Do we have any questions, please? Wow. That's a lot of questions. Who's a nice person? Oh, you're not a nice person, but I'll let you ask one. Go ahead. What's he going to ask? He is not nice at all. I know him well.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time before flying home. You just said you believe the conflict between Israel and Iran is over. What makes you so confident it is? And what do you do if it isn't?
Because I dealt with both, and they're both tired, exhausted. They fought very, very hard and
Got
very
to change the
viciously,
alert.
very
Well,
violently.
I know.
And they were both satisfied to go home and get out.
Just noticed the pint
And
glass.
start again, I guess
I
someday.
think every
And
UK resident will have a
soon.
pub pint glass.
I
I have like 6 of them.
Telltale
I
sign
don't
was,
like when I have a Nans.
somewhat,
Only Nans, I think, do this. They have like tiny little shot glasses of juice. You know what I mean? Like the little normal size glasses.
52 of them.
I can't like that. Like that's not enough. This is only ever enough juice for me.
Amazing, actually. They have fallen.
Do you still use candles patterns as a confirmation like this would be an even
I
start?
think the war
Yeah.
ended, actually, when we
I don't. You
various
know,
nuclear sites with the planes.
it's not like that.
And I just
If I notice it, yeah, I'll
think
talk
these
about it.
pilots, these are the best pilots in the world.
But it's not
The
like a
shots in the
strong
world,
confluence
shots.
as much as like an ICT would be, or
And I just think we can give
the
them
wick
respect
thing,
they
the
deserve
you know
because they
the
came
wick
up with
trick.
fake news.
As good a confluence that would be. It's not like that kind of thing, or you know, liquidity or fair value gaps on a high time frame. It's not like that strong of a confluence.
I think Israel's going to get back to
I know the 9
what they do,
glasses.
and I think that Iran's going to get back. You know, Iran has a huge advantage. They have great oil, and they can do things. I don't see them getting back involved in the nuclear business anymore. I think they've had it. They've been at it for 20 years.
So is anyone going to take this? You know, obviously we're still inside a 30-minute fair value gap.
Somebody else, but we're there. We'll have to do something about it. Yes.
That 5 minutes is fine.
Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
But is anyone going to take this? Because I'm not. Because I'm going to wait for the next 15-minute candle. If the next 15-minute is best case, we want it to be like slow. We want it to inverse the fair value gap, obviously, which is this one right here that I've drawn out. We need to inverse that. If we do, we can take that trade. I don't want to melt down. If we melt down, we can't really take that entry. But let's listen to what Trump's got to say. Wait for the next 15 minutes candles. 14 minutes left. So in 14 minutes, we could be taking an entry on GJ at the moment. That's the only thing I can see.
It could be very severe damage, but they didn't take that. They said it could be limited or it could be very severe. They really didn't know, other than to say it could be limited or it could be very, very severe. And you didn't choose to put that because it was very early after. Since then, we've
Whoa,
collected
that was
additional
weird.
intelligence. We've also spoken to people who have seen the site. They're severe. They really damage, but they didn't take that. They said it could be limited or it could be very severe. They really didn't know, other than to say it could be limited or it could be very, very severe. And you didn't choose to put that because it was very early after. Since then, we've collected additional and decided.
Giving up on your maximum pressure.
Four. I could stop it. They're gonna need money. Would it? No, if they're gonna sell oil, they're gonna sell oil. I'm not taking over the oil. We could have, you know. I used to say with Iraq, keep the oil. I could say it here too. We could have kept the oil. No, China's gonna want to buy oil, and they can buy it from us. They can buy it from other people. but you're gonna have to put that country back into shape. It desperately needs money. Yeah. Yeah, please. Here we go. I'm picking the beauties today. Go ahead.
Mr. President, Secretary General Rutte has described President Putin as an adversary, a threat, an enemy. Do you view him the same way? And in addition to that, you mentioned General Kane, your Chief of Staff, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
General Kane.
Yes, he has said that Mr. Putin has territorial ambitions beyond Ukraine. Do you view that in the same way?
This is not what I wanted to see on GJ
I
at
know one
all.
thing, he'd like to settle. He'd like to get out of this thing. It's a mess for him. He called the other day. He said, "Can I help you with Iran?" I said, "No, you can help me with Russia." Because, you know, in the last few weeks, we took care of India and Pakistan, Kosovo, Serbia. I think on Friday we have coming in, the Congo is coming in, and Rwanda is coming in. That was a vicious war that went on, a machete war. Heads chopped off all over Africa. They're coming in.
Heads
And we
chopped
had,
off all over Africa.
Two others, in addition to that, nobody's ever done anything like this. No, I consider him a person that's...
If you're on TikTok, the reason I'm not really talking is because we're watching this. Let me show you.
I thought we would have had that settled easy. I've settled 4 of them in the meantime. But he did call up and he said, you know, he's close to Iran. He'd like to help us get a settlement. I said, no, you help me.
This
get
is
a
the
settlement
YouTube.
with you, with Russia.
This is the
And
trade.
we're gonna be doing
This is the
that.
Trump speech.
Yeah,
This is the
please.
camera. This is the Instagram shot.
Thank you, Mr. President. You made clear your position on what impact this strikes had. I wanted to ask you what is next with Iran. For instance, is there any indication from U.S. intelligence that Iran was able to move any material?
No, we just the opposite. We think we hit him so hard and so fast they didn't get to move.
It does have a
And
way
we knew
with
about
words.
that. It's very hard. and
Pause.
very dangerous. It's called many people, they call it dust, but it's very, very heavy. It's very, very hard to move. And they were way down, you know, they're 30 stories down. They're literally 30, 35 stories down underground. Oh yeah, we think it's covered with granite, concrete, and steel.
Can I ask you, are you interested in restarting negotiations with Iran? And if so, have they
So our people, Marco could answer it, but our people are not, I'm not. The way I look at it, they fought, the war's done, and, you know, I could get a statement that they're not going to go nuclear. We're probably going to ask for that, but they're not going to be doing it. But they're not going to be doing it anyway. They've had it. They've had it. Now, maybe someday in the future we'll want that. But I've asked Marco, do you want to draw, I just asked him the question as we were walking on the stage, do you want to draw up a little agreement for them to sign? Because I think we can get them to sign it.
We're not in this trade, by the way, guys. We're not actually in this trade, just to clarify.
Mr. President, I think President Trump has shown a willingness to meet and talk to anybody in the world who's interested in peace. I don't know of any president that's been as willing as he has to meet with
Wow,
anyone.
USDJPY.
Peaceful relations.
Have you got my PayPal
Any
over?
country in the world.
I asked for it on Discord.
Obviously,
If you've sent it to me on Discord, then yeah, we will have it.
Engage in peace, but to negotiate directly with the United States.
Not sure we're gonna get another trade today.
Country process, but I know of no president, probably in our modern history.
I'm happy to see this reversed.
peace more than President
You know, because we were going to take this trade. We were going to take this trade, but it reversed,
I'll tell you what.
which is I'm quite happy to see. After doing all this, came straight back up. Happy to see that because
We may sign an agreement.
I don't want it to play out when I'm not taking it.
Necessary.
You know.
They had a war, they
We
fought.
would.
Now they're going back to their world. I don't care if I have an agreement or not. The only thing we'd be asking for is what we were asking for before about we want no nuclear, but we destroyed the nuclear. In other words, it's destroyed. I said Iran will not have nuclear. Well, we blew it up. It's blown up to kingdom come, and so I don't feel very strongly about it. If we got a document, wouldn't be bad. We're going to meet with them, actually. We're going to meet with them. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Mr. President, Netherlands City, thank you for visiting our country. As you
Thank you.
of course, I'd like to know how you slept last night at the House of the
Oh, I slept beautifully.
But probably
Muzzy's
more
on.
serious question. I think you just had a meeting with President Zelensky.
Did you discuss any ceasefire in this Russo-Ukrainian?
No, I wanted to know how he's doing. He was very nice, actually. We had little rough times, but sometimes he was, couldn't have been nicer. I think he'd like to see an end to this. I do. I think what I took from the meeting couldn't have been nicer, actually, but I took from the meeting that he'd like to see it end. I think it's a great time to end it. I'm going to speak to Vladimir Putin and see if we can get it ended. But look, these are brave people. They're fighting these wars all over the place. You know, last week they had, I guess, close to 7,000 young soldiers, Russian and Ukrainian soldiers were killed. 7,000 in 1 week. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'll be speaking to Putin. No, I had a good meeting with Zelensky, and I had a lot of good meetings. A lot of good meetings with a lot of people, a lot of great leaders. But he's fighting a brave battle. It's a tough battle. Yeah. Go ahead, waitress.
Thank you. Ida Arkanen from Finland, Ilta-Sanomat. You have played golf with President Alexander Stubb. How do you see Finland as a NATO ally and partner, and how would you describe your relationship with our president?
Well, he's a very good golfer. Okay. In fact, he was in his college golf team. He went to a good college.
If you're on Instagram, go to the YouTube.
He was a good golfer.
If you're on Instagram, you want to see the full thing, go to the YouTube, search up Josh Williams FX, go on YouTube. I'm live there every single day.
And I actually made him an offer. I didn't go to Congress. They'll try and impeach me for this.
This could still play out. We've got 6 minutes left on this. We could still get something here.
About 1/3 of what he asked for. But we're negotiating. We need icebreakers in the U.S. And if we can get some inexpensively, I'd like to do that. Actually, they'll fix it up, make it good. Also, we may buy some icebreakers. You know, you're the king of icebreakers, that particular country. They make them good. They make them really good, and they know what they're doing. And so we're negotiating with them for about 15 different icebreakers. But one of them is available now. It's old, and it's old. It's like 5-6 years old. Now we're trying to buy it. I'm trying to make a good deal. All I do my whole life. My whole life, that's all I do is make deals. Yeah, please. Go ahead. Sir, go ahead.
Yeah, a question for NewsHour Dutch TV. First of all, on Article 5, on your way here, you spoke...
What time do you go live normally? I go live 2:30 p.m. UK time, so the New York Open. That's when I'm live on here, every single time.
In case some of the NATO members do not reach the threshold that was discussed today. My second question is following up on a colleague on Iran. What intel reports do say that everything over there was obliterated?
Yeah, well, there are numerous of those reports that are coming out fast and furious, but the most respected ones we've already seen. And I will say that on a very confidential basis, they're looking at the reports, like numerous reports, and including people going to the site and checking the site, and they're going to be having, I guess you're going to be
currently looking at a GBPJPY sell.
But no, the site was
Would you like to trade the loose session? I do like to. I just don't go live for it because then I'll be live all day. That's more with like the Discord. So we just kind of discuss trades in there with the Discord. I don't really go live during London.
Differently, I said I watched.
Because then I'll be live all day, and that's not my plan.
And the love and the passion that they showed for their country was unbelievable. I've never seen quite anything. They want to protect their country, and they need the United States.
So GJ's not probably going to invest this 30 minute. If we check the 30 minute now.
Mark, or you can ask any of the people that
that's when you're a full-time stream on Kick. Wow.
They love their country. They were so respectful of me because I'm the head of the United States. And I made, the King of Saudi Arabia, when I was in the Middle East. So I was in Qatar for a different reason, not a reason to get shot at. We were in there for economic development reasons, Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia. All three leaders of those countries, and we took back $5.1 trillion into the United States. All three leaders said, you're presiding over the hottest country in the world. The United States right now is the hottest country. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody everybody wants a piece of it. He said a year ago, your country was dead. You had a deadhead running it. You had a country that was dead, and it was dead.
He looks like the slug off Monsters Inc. I'm watching you, Wazowski.
5 months at that time, he made it the hottest country. This is the hottest country in the world. The United States right now is the hottest country in the world. And when I was around that table, it was a nice group of people, many of whom I knew from previous. When I saw the passion they had for the country, almost everyone, and you probably have the tapes, it was very public, but almost every one of them said, thank God for the United States. Without the United States, they couldn't really have NATO.
2 minutes left. Let's see what this gives us. It's like 50-50 right now. We could actually inverse it. It's still a possibility.
And I left here differently. I left here saying that these people really love their countries. It's not a ripoff. And we're here to help them protect their country. Okay, we'll do one or two more.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
A question on Spain. Are you satisfied with today?
Oh, I think Spain's terrible what they've done. No, I do. They're the only country that won't pay the full up. They want to stay at 2%. I think it's terrible. And you know, they're doing very well. The economy is very well. And that economy could
Oh
go
shit.
out of the water with something.
Oh
But
shit.
Spain is the only country that, are you from Spain?
Could be getting a setup here, aren't you, Jay?
You're the only country that is not paying. I don't know what the problem is. I think it's too bad. So we'll make it up. You know what we're going to do? We're negotiating with Spain on a trade deal. We're going to make them pay twice as much. And I'm actually serious about that. We're going to make Spain. I like Spain. I have so many people from Spain. That it's a great place and they're great people. But Spain is the only country out of all other countries that refuses to.
Just trying to just go over to a little bit more for me.
You know,
Sounds good, Mitchell. Have a good one.
free ride.
Appreciate
You
it.
have to pay it back to us on trade because I'm not going to let that happen. It's unfair. It's unfair in an art.
You will learn a bit if you can stick to it.
Yeah, you tall one.
Are we going to take this trade? That is the question.
Mr. President, Johannes Stephan from Austrian National Television. You once said that you would end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. You later said you said.
Look at the size of his forehead.
Of course it was sarcastic.
But you've now been in office for 5 months and 5 days. Why have you not been able to end the Ukraine war?
Because it's more difficult
Oh,
than
there's 15 current.
people would have any idea. Vladimir Putin has been more difficult. Frankly, I had some problems with Zelensky. You may have read about him. And it's been more difficult than other wars. I mean, look, we just ended a war in 12 days that was simmering for 30 years, frankly.
Right.
We ended Rwanda and the Congo. They're coming to sign the documents. We've already signed basic documents, but they're coming, I think, to the White House on Friday.
We're in.
We ended Serbia was going to go at it. But maybe the most important of all, India and Pakistan. And that wasn't whether or not they may someday have nukes like we're talking about.
We are in.
The Middle East, like we're talking about with Israel and Iran. This is they have nuclear weapons. I ended that with a series of phone calls.
I am on the 15-minute time frame.
If you're going to go fighting each other, it was getting very bad. You know how bad that last attack was? It was really bad. If you're going to go fighting
USD/JPY?
No.
Oh wow, yeah, that looks like it's continuing down there nicely.
It was a free trade deal. And in fact, I had the general, who was very impressive. The general from Pakistan
So,
was in my office.
Let me just turn Trump down.
You know, Prime Minister Modi's a great
So, if we're gonna,
he's a great
I think,
And I got them to reason. I said, we're not doing a trade deal if you're going to fight. And if you're going to fight each other, we're not doing it.
1 hour there.
He said, no, I want to do the
The next low is here, which is 1.2. I could just take full TP there, which I might do. But my take profit is set as here right now. These are the different areas we can manage the trade. Break even at this low here. That is right, Mark. We're gonna go break even here, and maybe partials or full take profit here. If it's partials, it'll be like 75%. But catch this before it moves, guys. Catch this trade before it moves.
opposition leader. And I was asked to meet with the opposition leader. By the people that are running, I think they have some people where prime minister, you're supposed to meet with the opposition. We'll have to try that sometime in our country. Let's not do it. But he was, I thought he was very good. As far as the money going, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of spirit. Look, Vladimir Putin really has to end that war. People are dying at levels that people haven't seen before for a long time. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like up the stream if you're in this trade, guys. Like up the stream if you're in this trade.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ukraine.
Journal on the Notion. Nice to see you sorted that. I'm loving how it looks. Happy to hear it, man. It is a cool journal. I like the look of it as well. It's pretty easy to navigate. That's why I liked it. That's why I put it in as well. Before then, it was like just going to be the same thing as like a spreadsheet, but in Notion. I decided to kind of make it a little bit more unique and stuff. Why 75% partials? 75% partials because there's no point in me taking 0.5% because that won't give me much at all. Or half partials, you know. I'd rather take 75% here and then let the rest run. Right? Or just close fully here. Can't really see much in the Trump's in the way. So I was trying a bit conscious about that, but are you in it? Yes, we are in it.
Say hello to your husband, okay? Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you.
Catch this before it moves, guys. Like up the stream if you're in this trade.
Bloomberg News.
Oh, Bloomberg.
You were criticizing the Federal Reserve Chair before coming to this summit.
I think he's terrible.
I was wondering if you've begun interviewing different candidates.
Which
for
stock
the-
is this?
Yeah,
This is
I know.
GBPJPY.
Within 3 or 4 people who all going to pick. I mean, he goes down pretty soon, fortunately, because I think he's terrible. We have no inflation. We have a tremendous economy. Hundreds
Hello,
of billions
Rodrigo.
of dollars of tariff money is pouring in. Factories are being built because they don't want to pay the tariffs, so they're building them all over the country. I think we're close to $15 trillion. I told you 5.1 trillion from the Middle East alone, but of investment money coming in. There's never been anything like that in the history of our country. But we have no inflation.
Ooh, that was ugly.
We have borrowing because Biden stupidly, they did short-term debt. So we have borrowing coming up. And, you know, we'll go 10 years, maybe longer, maybe shorter, but we'll go a long period of time when we do the debt. And because of him, because of this guy, we will have to pay for years. We'll be paying for him. And I said to him, listen, there's no inflation. He says, but maybe there'll be some. And that's true. I said, if there is some, what you do is raise the rate. I'm okay with that. You raise the rate in 2 years from now or a year from now. But because the rate's high, we have to pay more for debt. It's pretty equal. In other words, if it's 4%, it's 4%. If you drop it a point, you'll pay 3%. So it's fairly equal. Not necessarily, but fairly equal. So we're going to end up paying maybe 2 points or 3 points more. 3 points would be about $900 billion a year because of this.
That 1 minute candle is crazy.
Very average mentally person. He's an average mentally person. I'd say low in terms of what he does. Low. Low IQ for what he does. Okay. Wait. So instead of paying 900.
Yeah, I see that now.
We don't want to pay 900 just because he doesn't want to lower the rate. I said, if there's inflation in
architecture and interior design,
Come on.
find a 3D designer today.
among other things, but he's probably a very political guy, I guess. I don't know. I think he's a very stupid person, actually. All right, one more. Let's go. How about you? Go ahead. She looks so happy and everything.
Thank you.
That's what
I'm
I
from
heard.
Spain too. I'm Anamu from La Vanguardia. I wanted to know if
You're where from?
Spain too.
Ah.
I wanted to know if you want to.
That's the Spain corner right there. Shouldn't have said that. That's okay. I do like Spain, by the way. I think it's unfair that they're not paying, but go ahead.
Are you going to negotiate directly with Spain about?
I'm going to negotiate directly with Spain. I'm going to do it myself. They're going to pay. They'll pay more money this way. You should tell them to go back and pay. You're a reporter? You tell them to go back, they ought to join all of those countries that are paying 5%. Spain's going to be just about the only one that's not. They were the most hostile toward doing it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Okay,
Hold on. Why's it keep lagging?
Here's another one.
Thank you.
We got them all today.
Okay. So, Mr. President, you talked about expecting some on-the-ground assessments at Fordo and other sites. Is that Israeli and U.S.?
It's been obliterated, Kelly. It's been
What is your message then, sir, to the intelligence community when they present reports? You're not disputing the DIA report. You're just...
They presented a report that wasn't finished. We're talking about something that took place 3 days ago.
I understand.
The report was done 2 days ago. Wait a minute.
Yes.
They didn't see it. All they can do is take a guess. Now, if you take a look at the pictures, if you take a look how it's all blackened, you know the fire and brimstone is all underground because it's granite and it's all underground. You don't show it. But even there, with all of that being said, the whole area for 75 yards around the hole where it hit is black with fire. The group that's run by this gentleman, in fact, you may want to talk about it for a second because we're going to issue a report. And I think it's not even a very exciting report at this point. It's been obliterated, totally obliterated. And they did a report, but it was like, if you look at the dates, it's just a few days after it happened. So they didn't see it. They said it may be very severe.
Understood. Do you have a message for the intelligence community, though, in terms of unvarnished information getting to you, that it's not...
I don't really have a message. I would say issue the report when you know what happened. I wouldn't say that it could be severe or maybe not. They use the word severe. It could be severe or maybe it's not. So people like you picked up and said, oh, it's not severe. No, the report was not a complete report. Yeah, the message was probably wait till you know the answer before you
And sir, did you not have a public component to your Zelensky meeting for a tactical reason with President Putin?
Let him answer this.
Hello, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah. There's a reason the president calls out fake news for what it is. These pilots, these refuelers, these fighters, these air defenders, the skill and the courage it took to go into enemy territory flying 36 hours on behalf of the American people in the world to take out a nuclear program is beyond what anyone in this audience can fathom. And then the instinct
there's that bottom wick mark just before the close. The target is this here, down here. Now I want to go here. This is where we go break even. I want to go here and close partials or close the whole trade.
Based on a leak, of course, we've all seen plenty of leakers. And what do leakers do? They have agendas. And what do? They share the whole information or just the part that they want to introduce. And when they introduce that preliminary report that's deemed to be a low assessment, you know what a low assessment means? Low confidence in the data in that report. And why is there low confidence? Because all of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12 30,000-pound bombs is buried under a mountain, devastated and obliterated. So if you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. And somebody somewhere is trying to leak something to say, oh, with low confidence, we think maybe it's moderate. Those that drop the bombs precisely in the right place know exactly what happened when that exploded. And you know who else knows? Iran. That's why they came to the table right away, because their nuclear capabilities have been set back beyond what they thought were possible because of the courage.
This is so indecisive.
Who led our troops, despite what the fake news wants to say.
But you're not disputing the report said what it said, even though it was initial.
The report said what it said, and it was fine. It was severe, they think, but they had no idea. They shouldn't have issued a report until they did. But we've gotten the information, and I think Pete said it better than you can say it. And you know, you should be proud, especially you, should be proud of those pilots, and you shouldn't be trying to demean them.
No,
those pilots flew at great risk, a big chance that they'd never come back home and see their husbands or their wives. Let me just tell you, you and NBC fake news, which is one of the worst, and CNN, New York Times, they're all bad. They're sick. There's something wrong with them. You know what? Using those people instead of trying to find something. By getting me, by trying to go and get me, you're hurting those people. They were devastated. You know, I got a call from Missouri, great state, that I won 3 times by a lot. And I got a call that the pilots and the people on the plane were devastated because they were trying to minimize the attack. And they all said,
yeah, Glenn, go back to 1%.
I don't think it was really maybe hit that badly. And they were devastated. They
Well,
put their lives
typically, I'm not gonna lie, that strategy is based on like a one phase, not like a 2-phase account.
are as negative as they could possibly be. It should be the opposite. You should make them
So if next time, go for a 1-phase account
really people.
if you can.
They were so devastated when they heard this news. And you know what they said? One of them, I spoke to one of them, said, "Sir, we hit the site. It was perfect. It was dead on." Because they don't understand fake news, because they have a normal life, except they have to fly very big, very fast planes. But it's a shame. You should be making them heroes. All right, in the back. Go ahead, back white, yeah. White jacket, yeah. Go ahead, give him a mic.
I don't like this indecision. If we inverse this 1 minute fair value gap, I'm going to close the trade.
The NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you, and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that, but do you hope that actually they're going to be able to defend themselves, defend Europe on their own?
3-phase.
They need help a little bit at the beginning, and I think they'll be able to.
3-phase.
They'll remember this day, and this was a big day for NATO. You know, this was a very big day. They took it. One of the gentlemen said, "You know what? We've been trying to raise the rate for 30 years." He said, 20 years from almost the beginning.
I closed out, by the way, with the
For
jump.
a long time. He said, until you came along, it never happened. What you did
I'm
was
out.
amazing. It's been sort of an amazing.
When we
day.
jumped up, that initial jump, I closed the trade.
Do you think they can do it without you, though, in the future? Can they do it without
Well, ask Mark.
Thanks.
I think you have to ask Mark. Okay? So, we're heading back. I want to thank these 2 gentlemen behind me. They're incredible people. Both of them. They're really.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Job. And Susie's
At least we tried it, but it's always going to be a gamble
Thank you very much.
when
It's
Trump's
quite an
speaking.
exciting time. And we're going to be heading back. We'll be back soon. We'll see you in Washington, D.C. Remember this.
This is 4 break-even trades in a row. This is the second attempt of this trade. There you go. At least he's shut up now. Do not like that at all. Do not like that at all. I'll leave it there. We got break even on that one. Just as it jumped up above that 1 minute fair value gap. I warned yous. I said if we push up against it, we inverse it, I'm done. What the fuck? What is this? So the stream's finished now. So we can get rid of these. There we go. Right. Right, okay. What else is there? This is also very annoying. So we've talked I think this week so far we've seen about like 8 different trades. We've took 4 of them. They've all been break-evens. The thing is though, 2 of those 4 trades have been a win. We haven't seen obviously how this 4th one has played out yet, but if we held on to that a little bit more, it would have been a win. That gold trade yesterday. You know, there's a couple others as well like that. But you know, it's just the way it is. There's not much you can do when Trump is speaking. You know, we don't know what questions are going to be asked, really. Like, we don't know. Is it not wise to monitor on the 1 minute? I wouldn't say that at all. But we'll see how it goes. You know, if we need to change our strategy, maybe hold on to trades a little bit more, we'll make that adjustment if we need to. But yeah, I mean, maybe panicked out of that trade, maybe not. I still like the position. You know, I still like that trade. I still think it's a good trade to take. Maybe we panicked out of it, considering we're halfway in it now, and that's where we decided to move down. But either way, I think, you know, this is the way it goes. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, we stayed out of this trade. We chose not to take this trade, and it obviously paid off. This one we didn't even get an entry on. This one we chose to stay out of because the DXY was bullish against us. It was taking the piss. It was taking the piss. Don't you think as the 1 minute needs to retrace? Yeah, but then you go, okay, well the 1 minute does need to retrace. But that was the retracement there. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? Oh, for fuck's sake, I need to sort that out. Why is it not working? But anyway, you could argue, if you just ignore everything after this, you could argue that that was the retracement. But that is it. I would say that is it. That 5 minute fair value gap. This one, nah. Well, I mean that area definitely, but not because it was a fair value gap. This liquidity. Guess it made sense to come back up to here. We could just re-enter it. Could just re-enter it. Yeah, we could just re-enter it. Where was our stop loss? It was up here, wasn't it? Right, okay. Back in. Glyn, with this 5 minute, Glyn, because it was like so long ago, I would say that this is more about like the liquidity here. I wouldn't say this is an issue. It's like when we inverse a fair value gap, but I've already took liquidity. I think it's kind of like that. Is that the best way to describe it? Like this here, for example, where we inverse this fair value gap, but then had to retrace it anyway because we'd already took liquidity. It's kind of like that. Like your area is still the same. Like to say it's going to retrace around this area is right, but the reasoning's wrong there. It's not because it's an unmitigated fair value gap. It's because there's a low right there. That's what I would say anyway. But we're back in this. We are back in this. It is rocky today. Sam? Let's see how this goes. We will set and forget this as Mark has requested. Nah, but for real, I think that's a good idea too, Mark. We will end the stream here, guys. We're still in this trade. If you want to be up to date with this trade, if you want to see how I manage this trade and stuff like that, and catch the trade with us, all you have to do is join the Discord. But yeah, that is it. We're done here. We're going to let this run. Like up the stream if you haven't already, guys. This is the first stream on Instagram and on TikTok. We're going to be back again tomorrow at the same time, the same place. See what happens. We're going to let this run. See how it goes. Have a good one, guys. Right. I'm going to call it a day here. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.